So we'll see what happens here. Two clashing styles maybe going to come through in Champs. Like we can already see Twisted Fate and Azir banned straight away.
No surprise, we saw a lot of success from that Twisted Fate and generally is banned away. So going to be taken off the board again is this Twisted Fate with the Azir, two of Perfection's champions. And it doesn't even matter what role he is in. They target ban him.
They do, and actually target bans on the other side. Two top lane bans there being thrown at Porky on the top side. Rise and Rumble taken off.
Yeah, Rise and Rumble. Rise, of course, very strong, generally is banned, but the Rumble in particular, we have seen some big successes from Porky when he gets that Rise. Picked away from him by Sin in their last game, and banned away for the most part from here on out is that Rumble. And what's Porky going to go for? We saw the Hecarim last time, but we don't really know because he's quite versatile.
Yeah, and Sharp, of course, a bit newer to the role, so maybe only has a few champions he can draw on. Fizz actually going to get another ban. Probably a top lane ban, but also Perfection champion as well.
Yeah, for the most part, a top lane ban. That Cinder Hulk style Fizz is rampaging through the game at the moment. Take that away, very smart, strong meta champion. And in a way, it might be taken away from Perfection, but highly unlikely, as I actually think that it is another top lane ban to force Porky into something where he can get counterpicked.
Well, Callista's actually banned from the Direwolves, so away from Warble, but away from King in a sense there as well. And all of a sudden, lots of top laners left open, but AV insta-lock Caitlyn.
They take away that Caitlyn, a big priority and emphasis being placed on this AD carry since the changes in this patch. You can tell that everybody wants that Caitlyn as soon as possible. The Sivir left available, it is a good pick into that Sivir. We saw very high success from that when Kadra played it into Avant themselves.
It was, yeah.
Picking it away for themselves this time, a very smart decision.
Yeah, I like the pick here. Warble, a seasoned player, likes his Ashe, likes his Caitlyn, likes to play, maybe a little bit off the cuff every now and then, but the Direwolves, lots of strong stuff open, especially for Sharp. His top lane is already in Civil as well. He has played some funky jungle picks, but if they really want to lock down some strong champions, maybe Chopper's support comes to mind as well. Lots of options open now.
The Alistar available, the Nautilus available, but will Chuffer opt into that Bard perhaps that he loves so much, being able to roam around the maps? It has been.
Not in this game, but in other games.
You had me confused for a second there. Not banned away in this game. It is available. Of course, the Rek'Sai, the Gragas, everything available, but Sharp seeming to prioritize that Gnar is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, has played a bit of Hecarim, but not as much success, so is going to go to the Gnar, fairly strong in most matchups here, and Rek'Sai, of course, just such a good jungler.
Of course, and it takes away the Gnar from Porky as well, so leaving open perhaps the Maokai for him, which is generally the default. They do have the Rek'Sai with it, of course. You can have any other jungler you would like at the moment on the side of Avant. Shelby loves the Sejuani, can play the Gragas quite well also. We'll see what he wants to go for, but keep in mind Echo is also readily available to be picked, and we did see it jungle with success last game.
That's a good point. It might even be something that Perfection or Kensti could be hiding away. I mean, Kensti, not so much. He tends to sort of take a while to master champions, but if anybody's going to be on top of a really mechanically intensive mid lane champion, probably going to be Perfection.
Yeah, Perfection when it comes to mechanically intensive champions. Don't be surprised if it's him, but he also loves to roam and skirmish, and we'll see what he actually wants to do, but Avant have locked in.
Yeah, Irelia picked up there for Porky, so a bit of a different direction, more of a counter matchup, and actually a Destiny going to take away the Janna, so not that Alistar.
So the Janna Caitlyn, evidently one of the stronger lanes that we have seen so far. Caitlyn always a very strong independent AD carry. Janna just facilitates that with shields, with disengage and peel to really play to the strengths of Caitlyn. You can see in this game, Warble and Destiny are going to be hand in hand, basically best friends from start to finish of this game. And the Irelia, sort of a skill matchup into the Gnar also, has its own strengths and does scale super well with that Trinity Force, where Gnar generally likes to go for the tank items before scaling with a Black Cleaver and Frozen Mallet, perhaps.
Yeah, so I like it a lot. Porky sort of recognizing I'm the experienced top laner. Let me take the skill matchup there into the top lane. Give me more of a carry like Irelia. I found it very cute, though, that Avant are just taking the bottom lane they just lost to earlier in the night. They're like, you know what? That was pretty good sin. You guys had that one on lockdown.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good bot lane. We might want that. Yeah, see how it works. No, of course. A very strong bot lane needs to be respected. Of course, unfortunately, getting it picked against them in their last game where they did lose, and that's an interesting response.
Yeah, Direwolves going to go back to an old favorite there for Chuffer. Thresh actually will be his champion, but King's a pretty big imp fan from what I understand. If there's ever a signature imp champion, it's probably that Twitch.
No doubt he might be running that imp skin also. So we've got the Twitch and the Thresh in the bot lane. It kind of says to me they're looking to lane swap. I would never I just would not.
Nope, this is
in
me.
my life put Caitlyn against the Twitch. If you were the Twitch, you would be leaving as soon as possible.
Yep, so gonna have to swap it up. But we've seen good success for swaps, especially when Chopper is kind of able to get unlocked and start roaming around.
Yeah, exactly. And when they do that lane swap, of course, it does unlock him completely to his own devices to have that massive impact. So again, AV won't be wanting that lane swap just because of the bot lane alone. And then you have a look at the side of Direwolves, they want it. So AV have to kind of spot that and stop it.
Yeah, so we'll see what Avant doing to round out their draft with, though. They're going to give Perfection a counter pick on the Direwolves side. It does make sense. He's a very strong mid laner. Kenzie, though, keeping up meta recently. He's got Cassiopeia, and we're going to round it out with Gragas.
So they've got the Gragas, the response to the Rek'Sai, of course, very standard at the moment. They go hand in hand, those two. One counters out the other because they have the same amount of early pressure. They both scale quite well with tanky items, and they start doing a lot across the map around the same time. So a lot of ganks and counter ganks, or just the same time ganks in different areas for all we know at this stage. But the Cassiopeia are also locked in. Not actually knowing what it's up against is interesting, but because that Azir is banned, it's actually quite comfortable. You don't really know what you're up against. Doesn't matter too much. Perfection might default to that Kassadin, which... nice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're at least going to give it a look here, but I like Cassio a lot. I mean, it is locked in, never mind. Perfection is going to go back to Kassadin, so that's the one ban that didn't get thrown at him this time, and that's what he wants.
Yeah, so Kenzie evidently looking to lock that Cassiopeia in, knowing that he is basically defaulting to Twisted Fate, Kassadin, and then the odd Azir here and there. Perfection. Kind of predictable in the champion pool that he plays, but very unpredictable in the way that he plays the champions. You never know where he's going to be. Loves to roam once he hits that level 6. We'll see if Kenzie can actually quell that threat and keep him in his lane.
Yeah, I mean, Perfection, we've seen what happens when his Kassadin really gets unlocked and unloaded, but Kenzie as well certainly had his share of really strong games recently. I don't think we've seen him play Cassio all this split, to be honest. So I'm curious to see how he plays on it.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see how he performs, and of course up against what is arguably one of the hardest laners, but arguably one of the easiest matchups. Kenzie generally struggles when he gets behind in laning phase because he spends the rest of the game playing catch up on his opponent. Whereas Perfection, if he gets ahead in lane, will keep staying ahead in lane, snowball the rest of his team with him through skirmish and roaming plays. So it'll come down a lot to how this early game plays out in the mid lane for both teams.
I mean, you mentioned some of that matchup there. What is this matchup like for both sides here? Because it's clearly Perfection picked into the matchup, but is it good for him? Does he like the matchup, or is Kenzie just very happy in any matchup as Cassiopeia?
You're always going to be happy in any matchup as Cassiopeia, especially once you hit that level 2 mark. It's very rare that anybody in League of Legends can trade with a level 2 Cassiopeia. You've got the Twin Fangs and the Poison. You can just constantly throw it down and push them into very awkward positions early. And against the Kassadin, it's very easy to do so.
Well, we'll see what happens there. As you look through the team comps now, you can see pretty interesting stuff assembled for both sides. But get on Twitter, of course. Let us know who you think's going to win. Maybe who you think won the draft. Use the hashtag AVWin once again for Avant, or DW in for the Direwolves.
Yeah, now we haven't had a big look at all of the teams overall, more so just the individual players. So let's have a second to look at the finished Avant Garde lineup. And for the most part, it is essentially single target. They're looking to utilize that Caitlyn's strengths, the Cassiopeia's strengths, and find picks, keep their laners down, and stop that snowball so that when it comes to the team fighting stages, they are superior. But in saying that, Caitlyn, renowned for having that mid-game trough, could be interesting against the Twitch, who really hits its stride around the same time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it feels like there's lots of good protection for this Caitlyn. Like, both Gragas and Cassiopeia are great threats to sit next to your AD carry, but you look at the amount of people that can get on top of these carries, Kassadin's already scary enough. Even the Twitch might be a problem.
Yeah, so you look at the Avant lineup and you're thinking they're not going to hard engage ever. They've got the Janna, the Gragas. They're looking to basically just disengage, and they're saying, come at us, Direwolves. We will take you on our terms. You can engage if you'd like, but they've got all of the means in the world to stop that, disrupt that, and completely just move them all into random locations with the explosive cast, the Janna Monsoon. But you have a look at the side of Direwolves in response here. They can get straight onto priority targets at their will.
I mean, what are they looking for here? Is it just the Direwolves want to be aggressive once more?
The Direwolves want to get ahead early. They want to utilize that strength that they do have in their skirmish capabilities. They want to utilize the Kassadin and get him snowballing. If he gets through the early game ahead, he can 1v1 the Cassiopeia quite convincingly and just disengage after a successful trade. So you're looking for that first and foremost. How will the Kassadin perform? And then you're looking at Twitch.
Yep.
Twitch, very, very easy to kill early. You have like a 6-second time frame if you're taking damage to actually turn invisible. So disengaging, generally not an option for a Twitch. You've got Chuffer there with you as well. He's going to be able to help that out a lot. You've got the lanterns and everything. And It'll be very interesting to see how they go. But of course, if Twitch doesn't ramp up, he's going to stay behind for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing to me is it's crazy to think that we have such hyper-scaling carries here on Perfection, on King, and they probably still have to get ahead early to win the game.
Yeah, so you're looking at the side of them a little bit more holistically, even how are they going to win this game? It does come down to the hyper carry. Sharp, more of a facilitator in the top lane, just lets the rest of his team do the damage. We've seen some big plays from him, but it's not raw damage output to carry his team through the game. Perfection needs to ramp up and do all of the damage in the world, but when it comes to straight team fighting, Direwolves need to take them down sooner rather than later, because if they engage and the engage is not as planned, if Avant can actually utilize that mistake on the engage, turn it around with the Gnar and the Gragas, then they can win a prolonged team fight quite easily. It will come down to if Direwolves can get onto the carries of Avant, or if Avant can utilize the rest of their team and prevent the Direwolves from doing so.
Yeah, interesting stuff. They could be very long, complex team fights, but I have to point out, Rusty, King let us down. Chopper even has the Samsung White Thresh skin, and King let us down.
Chopper made up for it, King. That's shameful, actually.
That is.
If you look up to Imp, why not wear Imp's skin?
Just the synergy between those skins would have been amazing. They would have matched so beautifully.
So I would have had them as favorites to win this game if that was the skin matchup. Now I have no idea who's going to win.
Well, it's interesting to see what happens. I think, though, thankfully, hopefully, the play doesn't change.
Yeah, of course. They shouldn't play any differently. You can see our bot lane will just have infinite aggression.
Well, we'll see how aggressive they want to be today. We're going to get straight into the game, but back into the studio with Atlas and Spawn.
Thank you very much. Pastry time. Back onto the desk, of course, with the lovely Spawn. And look, this game is going to be... Did you just look shocked there?
I did.
Yeah.
That was a different one for once.
Yes, nailed it. See? I'm learning.
You are.
I'm learning. Good. I'm very excited to get into this game, though, Spawn, and I'm especially excited about this mid lane matchup. We've spoken about Kassadin being able to weave his way through these mage matchups before, but is Cassiopeia just too much?
Yeah, Cassiopeia is a lot in the mid lane to handle as a melee, and you know, we've seen time and time again that Perfection's probably just going to sack his lane. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just going to pack up and leave, and the draft that came through from Direwolves personifies how they want to play the game. They get Gnar first round. That is comfort pick coming through there. 4 sharp up there in the top lane. Then they get their facilitators. They get the Rek'Sai. They grab the Thresh, things that can gank very heavy. And then they get the rest of the match that can accelerate it really quickly. They jump onto the Twitch. They jump on to the Kassadin. And what that means is now they've got this rock in the top lane. They're going to accelerate the pace of the game with Rek'Sai and Thresh. And there's just going to be absolute chaos everywhere because Kassadin highly mobile, Twitch invisible. This is what Direwolves are doing really well, and it covers a lot of the weakness in their gameplay, is they just continue to fight you and do it on their terms really, really quickly, and before you know it, you've lost like a 3,000 gold advantage in all the objectives on the map.
Is it going to be difficult, though? Of course, Avant have picked up, you know, a fair bit of sort of mid-game scaling champions. Of course, being able to grab that Trinity Force user there in the top lane, with the likes of Kassadin and, of course, Twitch here, who want to scale into the game. Is that dangerous?
So all that they've done on the Avant lineup, and they said, we lost our last game because we systematically lost every lane. I'm going to pick to systematically win every lane. They've got the Caitlyn lane bully, Cassiopeia huge lane bully. Irelia should be able to outperform Gnar, and this is exactly what they're going to do. Just walk at them, unrelenting force, win the whole map, and then just snowball that into an objective advantage. That's exactly what happened against them in Game 1.
Well, that's what they're going to try and do, ladies and gentlemen, as we are onto the Rift Avant versus the Direwolves this time around. Porky wanders over a ward in the top lane, so might be giving away the fact that they're doing some sort of shenanigans.
Yeah, but they can't be too confident on that.
Yeah, because he just recalls?
Yeah, just recalls, wanders somewhere else.
May have even known that there was a ward there.
Oh, the next level mind.
That was so cute if it had happened, but fair bit of deep vision, but not exactly the deepest, so not going to see them heading down the lane, and King going to be heading towards the top side.
Yeah, and you know, we talked a little bit about King's skin's choice, so let's move over to Porky, who's going to be his direct lane opponent.
Yeah,
always hard with Irelia, because there's so many good skins. I like Nightblade personally, but you know.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Frosty. I like the Frosty one. That's my favorite. So Porky's definitely pretty good in my book. He is heading down towards bottom side by the looks of things, or at least to start a jungle follow here with Chelby.
Of course, a disclaimer, skins do not increase your skill at League of Legends, so do not feel obliged to go out there and grab them. They do look good though.
Oh no. What was I thinking? Kensti, though, is going to start off this laning phase by auto-attacking some creeps. We'll see whether Perfection can withstand this one. As King, of course, up towards the top side. I don't believe... Did he get the freeze onto this one as well?
Yeah, King got the freeze.
No
on the other side of the map, Warble did not. He's going to be shoving in very hard.
Well, that is probably what he wants to do. Caitlyn, of course, more happy when she's towards a turret. So as soon as she's able to auto-attack one of those, she's going to be very happy. Kenzie actually getting some poison damage
also
onto
pinging
Perfection
towards
here as
a
well.
3 buff here on the side of Avant. They've spotted out the fact that the blue buff is still up. You can see Jana trying to get some deep vision down there. And that means that it's going to be dangerous for Sybil and Sharp to try and take that one away.
And is this going to be all about whether Kenzie can push this lane out? And you can see he's actually getting very aggressive against Perfection and
So
pushing
this is
these
a
minion
trap
waves.
for Kenzie, because what he's actually doing is he's using his health as a resource to shove Perfection in. But what Perfection's done better is bought a lot of effective health pools. So you can see Kenzie, he's walking up, he's taking some creep aggro because he's weaving auto attacks, he's getting traded back on. And Perfection's just going to chug that flask. They even get a gank in here.
Yeah, they're looking for him. Sharp and Sybil show themselves now as Kenzie. Maybe a little
needs
bit
to
late on
flash
that one. He
diagonal
does
over the
have
wall.
the flash. Is he going to get there? No, not over the wall this time. But there are going to be 5 members of Avant right around here. Nice poison damage as Eye of the Storm's going to save Kenzie. And he's now chasing after the Direwolves. Man, Avant saving Kenzie just a little bit. Chopper's going to find him, though. Gets flayed back. The level 2 means death sentence here at the same time. And Kenzie, no flash this time. First blood goes over to Sybil.
Yeah, Sybil snipes it. Probably wanted to get that one onto Sharp, but you know what? Kills a kill in the bottom lane, and that's going to only mean better things for Perfection. The mid laner they want to get rolling.
Yeah, well, 2 members heading down towards the bottom side. We are going to have a fair bit of damage down onto this outer turret in the bottom lane, and doesn't look like the Direwolves are going to be able to offer anything here. That red buff still available for Avant if they want to actually get this 3 buff off. And the teleport into the top means that Porky just says, okay, I'll be able to pick up this
That was
farm
actually
now. No worries.
beautifully done by Porky, because he waited until they were sure they were going to be able to take the turret and 3 members weren't going to come shove them off, and then teleported up and still got majority of the CS. So as you can see, 6 CS to 1. That's why they would have loved Sharp to get that kill, because right now, without the kill, without any CS, he's actually in a pretty sore spot as Gnar.
He is, and Kenzie able to get some farm back. Only 4 down after that
wave's gonna
situation.
shove back out. 4 Sharp. Cannon creeps. Just too strong there.
Upsetting stuff. As Kenzie able to use that Twin Fang just to clear out this minion wave quite effectively now. Going to be able to get that transform pretty fast,
But
considering the fact that he got a lot more.
going back to the mid lane.
They are focusing on Kenzie quite heavily as walks into the death sentence as well. There's the knock-up, played back, and Kenzie obliterated once more.
Yeah, and Sybil's actually picked up 2 kills, so he better start transitioning into this mid game nice and strong. You know, he's
Warrior
definitely
enchant.
capable of doing it on Rex. I am actually looking towards something like that, or at least a Snowball Sightstone.
Sightstone. They're so good.
To be able
So
to get them
cost
nice
efficient.
and ahead. But Shelby, he's going towards top lane, looking for that dive.
Yeah, Chuffle looking to try and come around there as well as King.
King starting to
Does he
sell.
have the ambush? There's Destiny with the damage. Flashes out of the way of the body slam, but there's Shelby, just flashes on top of him, and Warble picks up that kill. So Avant able to give their kills to the carries.
Yeah, so AD carry picking that one up. Now a hard shove coming in on the top lane as well. So you can see gold relatively equal, even though Direwolves being nice and aggressive early, just because of the early objectives going over to AV.
Yeah, and Shelby, look at that, using his Gromp in order to
steal the CS.
Yeah, kill the CS as well in the backline. Warble thinks, oh, this is a perfect peacemaker, but Shelby, no! It's going to kill him. There they are. Just killing themselves on Shelby's body.
And you know, they get both outers, and this is what we said they wanted to do. Start winning the lanes early, get that snowball rolling down the hill. As Shelby, he grabs the cannon creep as well.
My
He's
goodness.
being a pest.
No, he's like, Sybil's getting all the kills. I got to be strong now as well, guys. As Sybil's able to clear out some vision here on the bottom side of the map as well. That red buff been up for quite some time. As Shelby
Since
is
the
going
start
to
of the
pay a
game.
visit to the mid game. And actually, Kenzie at level 4 against Perfection going super aggressive, but Perfection only level 5. Can't Rift Walk this time. And didn't have the flash.
And
so
they
AV,
bought the
wow, look at this.
turret wrecking machine mid. All of a sudden, no wave clear.
He's
And
a
that's something
siege
that
unit.
we didn't point out about Direwolves' composition. There is no wave clear. They're going to get 3 turreted by 6 minutes.
Yeah, Warble the Trebuchet heads towards the mid lane now as Sybil's actually going to get hit by a barrel there. Shelby tanking up a little bit as Warble playing aggressively. Nice use of the net, gets him out of the way of that death sentence. And Chuffer, who's been landing him this whole game, this is his first.
Yeah, so not able to pick out the turret. And you see that actually Sharp was able to grab a lot of CS down in that bottom lane for himself, but
Yeah, he
Porky.
gets caught up there a little bit by Porky's Equilibrium Strike, but Sharp not going to worry about it too much. Almost has that Mega Gnar available, and Sybil comes around, wants to take away this red buff.
He's going to grab it. He's got his smart.
Yeah. Shelby doesn't. He just wants to kill Shelby though first. Shelby smites it away. Oh, is he going to be able to get far enough? As Sybil, the Prey Seeker, it's coming off cooldown. Perfection in the meantime kills Kenzie. Nails it, but man, Destiny with a fantastic Eye of the Storm. And let's
Actually
just have a look
Flash
at
to get back in range of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, saved his life.
Worth.
Definitely calling worth. What wasn't worth for Avant was their mid lane. Losing Kenzie in that 1v1 Perfection, managing to come out on top of that one. I believe Kenzie just hanging around a little bit too long.
Yeah, and now they've got so many members down this bottom lane. Porky actually going to be shoved off the turret, it looks like, so that's not a great news story coming through. I'm surprised they haven't literally thrown Kenzie into the top lane and kept Warble mid, try and deny this Cassidy even further along with the Gnar and siege down the last turret. What we used to see a lot out of the Gnar Caitlyn lane.
Yeah, it is
Maybe
sort
I'm
of
just
kill the
too
outer
old.
ring as much as possible. Sybil going down relatively low, but is going to be able to lock down Dragon #1 here in favor of Direwolves at 8 minutes into this game. Perfection in the mid lane, now level 7, more and more comfortable as this game goes on. He does have the blasting ones first option, so that's how he did so much damage to Kenzie, and Kenzie hasn't actually got any
And
aggressive
you know,
stats yet
Warble
at all.
listened to you this game. He went boots 2 for that attack speed because he has Eye of the Storm before he even went to the BF sword.
Yeah, see, I like it. I knew something. Red buff going to be stolen away as well, though, here by Avant, and they are controlling the Direwolves jungle if nothing else here, as Kenzie does have level 6 now. Perfection has to be careful as the Rift walks out of the way. That's now on cooldown, though, as Shelby tanks up this turret for way too long. Just need to be a little bit more careful than that, but not going to be too much of a worry as they finally take down that outer turret in the mid lane. He's going to be traded here for the bottom. No, it's not, actually, as Porky teleports in.
And the whole team is heading down. Destiny, with that Tailwind passive, might be able to get in range.
Yeah, King actually without that ambush used just yet. He's just going to take himself a lantern if he wants it. There he is. He's going to be safe. And Chuffer able to get some vision over the wall. Easily cleared out, though, with the pink that's available for Avant. And Kenzie, no. You don't want to be up that far.
Certainly don't. Not against Perfection, who's able to control this mid wave. You can see 13 CS. Kenzie not having the best early game so far. 1-3-0 has been responsible for all of his team's deaths, which is never a good feeling.
No, not so much. But he did manage to at least pick up kill credit for the last one, so able to get something in his favor.
And Sharp actually farming up really well. Level 8 to level 6 for Porky. Porky also only 33 CS. Sharp 62, beating out the whole of the AV lineup. And
whoa,
that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Sharp really able to capitalize on that.
He probably could have dove him then. He had everything available.
Yeah, but look, he's not greedy.
He's not. That was weird.
Does have a phage as well, so Sharp going
Just
for that
does
Black Cleaver
ridiculous
first.
damage.
Yeah, we actually heard about this from Carbon, saying that Sharp just loves to go the aggressive build no matter what. Just really wants to
Well, he's
give it to
up
you
in this lane now. He's up 30 CS and 2 levels. There's no reason to not try and bully the lane out.
Yeah, this was actually planned by Porky. Picked it into this matchup, so unable to really capitalize thus far. And is that just a product of the early game?
Yeah, I really want to go back and see where the lane was held, because as you can see, Porky having a very hard time.
Yeah, Equilibrium Strike just to quell that, but Sharp more and more in control as Chopper's going down in the bottom lane. Warble picks up another kill. King might be in trouble as well as Warble takes a turret shot. Oh, the Contaminate not going to quite go off in time, and King, oh, there's the ultimate actually.
Yeah, really smart, going to force him off the turret here.
Yeah, uses the ambush as well. Shelby might want to try and find a body slam blind. It could be hilarious, but Avant just going to concentrate on the turret.
Yeah, so this has turned into a very big fast push game for Avant. They need to continue this snowball, because right now, one-on-one around the map, they are probably weaker than all counterparts.
Yeah, well, Porky actually not going to get hit by that Gnar as Sharp throws that one into the wind, but he's going to get a lot of his health back with that Transcendent Blade. They're going for the dive, but Sybil, he's tanking up the turret, forced to use the flash to get out. Porky trying to get a 1-for-1, but Sharp nets himself a kill with the Hyper, and they're going to take down the turret as well.
Yeah, so this will put the game right back on equal footing, and Sharp grabbing a kill is not what they wanted, because all of a sudden, the Gnar more than happy to deal with the split push that will come through from Irelia. And Porky hasn't really got much attention from his team, but all the attention from Direwolves seems to be up in that lane right now.
Well, it looks like Sharp is what they want to get ahead. Now has the Black Cleaver as well. So Sharp he's just gone from a menace to something that's completely impossible for them to deal with.
Yeah, certainly has Perfection. He's 30 CS up as well in that mid lane. Even King has built himself a CS advantage. So, as I said, as long as this snowball keeps going from Avant, as long as they can continue to knock down turrets, open up the map, they're in an okay position. But right now, because they're struggling to farm, it's just going to be incredibly difficult to claw themselves back into the 1v1 matchups.
Well, Warble is slightly accelerated with his 2 kills that he's picked up, 66.6% for AV. So with a 16 CS deficit, it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle, but now getting towards another inner turret.
But the thing is, they're just going to rotate Twitch into those side lanes, and he's never really going to have to fight, whereas it's the Gnar as well as the Kassadin that are always going to be in fighting position. Which is just terrifying, because look at him.
Yeah, well, Warble able to get a lot of damage down on that turret. Death Sentence onto Chelby as Chuffer does throw out a Lantern to take for Perfection, but he Rift walks on top of Chelby, doesn't find the damage from the ultimate as Porky does need to be careful. There's the Contaminate from King, and Sybil, he's going to lock down the kill, of course. Bloodthirsty jungler here, even denying it away from the Twitch. But still, the farm is just ridiculous.
Kensti has Flash available, and that's a pretty tasty Twitch down there.
Yeah, Miasma just going to be used here, but Direwolves, they send Sharp down the bottom lane. Flash forced out here from Kensti, who just wants none of it now.
Yeah, so has to flash away. All of a sudden, another turret falls down, and Direwolves grab the gold advantage and probably control over the whole map right now.
Yeah, and Perfection just hanging out there in the mid lane. He's so healthy with that Rod of Ages now already stacking up. He had that at around 11 minutes in this game. It's going to mean more than happy. 21 minutes in, Perfection going to have that one fully stacked and ready to go.
And this could be an absolute nightmare of the week for Avant. Of course, they lost that heartbreaking game on Monday night. Now looking to potentially go down 2-0 on tonight's play. A 3-0 night is not what 0-3 night is not what they were looking for at all. It's going to take them to not great in the kills.
No, things not going great for Avant.
What are they going to be? They're going to be 3-5.
3-5, yeah. If they don't manage to take this game down. Still early days, of course, the gold lead, nothing ridiculous. Actually missing that one as Destiny finds his way around. Warble is going to be able to take him down. The ultimate comes down, and Warble makes himself as safe as possible and takes down the kill in the top lane. They might be able to pick up the inner turret, but it is going to be in trade for the second dragon here in favor of the Direwolves. They're making sure that they keep that one locked down away from Avant, who have been focusing on structures.
Yeah, they certainly have. So Avant trying to get an outer turret for themselves. And Gragas really has been a second support this game, just following Warble around. Yeah. Destiny at the perfect time appeared, otherwise King would have fancied his chances with that play to the wrong King. The exhaust kind of wrecked his day though.
Yeah, it did. Most certainly did, as Destiny was able to come through, save his life. And that's what happens. I mean, you're in this power trough of Caitlyn around this time of the game. You need friends around. Get me in range of a turret, guys. We'll be fine. Perfection going aggressive now as Chuffer makes his way around as well. Howling Gale is going to knock him up, though, and Sybil trying to find his way in. Kensti waiting in the wings as well. Can he get the ultimate? Help turn this game around as far as the fights are concerned for Avant.
Yeah, it certainly needs to be able to peel with that ultimate, because right now, 40 CS down. Kassadin continuing to scale into this mid game. Cassiopeia scales fine, but is kind of range gated. Perfection, however, will be a lot healthier with that Zhonya's Hourglass to be able to dive into the backline and really try and assassinate a squishy target.
Yeah, Kensti now down 40 CS as well. Abyssal Scepter is completed, so that is definitely a good thing, but able to pick up a blue buff as well. So feeling okay is the Snake Lady, but has to be able to farm more.
Yeah, and because of that turret that was taken in the top lane, once again, Avant grabbed the gold lead back, but you just feel their gold a little bit more spread out. Janna would be much more profitable right now than what Chuffer would be, you feel. Have a little bit more gold in the back pocket from all the turrets that have been going down, but Sharp is so much better off than Porky right now. Perfection, so much more accelerated than what Kensti would be as they're trying to go in on King.
Yeah, they're looking for him. The ultimate comes down from Warble, blocked by Sybil there, but it may not be enough. Nice use of the 90 caliber net, but the ambush, is King going to have enough as he takes the Lantern out? Now might be able to turn this one around, actually, as Porky getting taken down solo. Perfection with so much damage. There's the Unburrow as Sybil locks up the Irelia. Warble makes his way in, though. Kensti, he's going to be able to take down the double kill, actually, for Warble, as now they're just going to push up, try and take some more of the base.
Yeah, and one of the Fed members we mentioned wasn't there. It's Chuffer. Wow.
There's the ultimate from Chelby. Chuffer puts down the box in a nice spot, but Warble so much range And that's a 6-0-0 Caitlyn.
Yeah, so in the end, it really is all going to be on Warble to carry this game out. They're trying to continue to fast push into the base.
Yeah, they might even be able to break it here. There's only a couple of seconds on the rest of the members of the Direwolves. They might be able to rock it out and protect
They need
this.
a gamble for it, I think.
Yeah, are they going to be able to take this one down? Is Destiny trying to tank this one up? There's the teleport, and they kill the turret. Cancelled out as well, because Porky thinks that they may not even survive this one.
They're not going.
Yeah, everyone going to be in trouble. They're taking out Kensti first. And don't go the same way, guys. It's going to be really
that
scary.
was actually a really great
nice
net coming
exit pod.
through from Warble, so they might actually get away with only one dead, although Perfection's still running around.
Yeah, he's pretty fast too and does have that Rift Walk to really close the distance. Oh, Warble, does he have the net available in time? No, he doesn't. He's super dead as the shutdown comes through for Perfection. So that's a lot of extra gold on the Kassadin.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they will be able to push through, pick themselves up a turret. So good gamble. Avant have broken the base, which means that Irelia ever gets stronger in this game. Going to be an absolute nuisance in that bottom lane, but that was just a great response coming through from the Direwolves.
Yeah, really well played. So, look, Avant, they managed to get the maximum out of their situation after picking up a nice sort of array of kills just with a little bit better map movement from a lot of their players, collapsing a little bit more quickly. But Perfection now has a needlessly large rod. There's a lot of these Direwolves players that are really starting to get the items that they need. And I have to think that when King picks up that Ghostblade, I mean, that Rat-a-tat-tat is going to be so scary.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's gone the one-on-one assassin build where you just pop the Ghostblade, get in people's face, make sure you're doing all that damage. Couple that with how fed Perfection is right now. Not his scoreline doesn't look that impressive, but 30 CS ahead still over Cassiopeia in a losing lane matchup. Just means that if they catch anyone out, they will burst through them way too quick for a response party to be available.
Yeah, and Warble, who had managed to pick himself up a bit of a CS advantage, now behind just a little bit as well. Almost.
So that's why it's such a good strategy right now. That's why I actually really appreciate them taking the gamble and making sure they got that bottom next inhibitor turret.
Well, one thing we didn't touch on is the fact that the Direwolves have a monopoly on the Dragon at this stage of the game. 1 minute and 20 seconds here for them, and they will have their third potentially if they can actually get position around here. Nice. Get off the Scuttle Crab in order to get Avant some vision of that can't be removed. And they are going to be able to take down another buff from Sybil. He's lost a whole lot on this map. I'd really love to see the buff control of Avant this game.
Yeah, it definitely has been fantastic. Shelby up in the face of the enemy jungler. Even though he's a little bit behind, you see Sybil, he had the run of the early game, 3-1-3.
Yeah.
Performed very well going towards that Randuin's Omen to make sure he's nice and tanky. And now Avant, as I said, they're just going to create pressure in this bottom lane. It has to be responded by Direwolves. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, everyone's sort of just meeting up here, and it looks like Perfection now has to try and deal with Porky. He's going to be okay. Porky just using his ultimate there just to put a bit of pressure on Perfection, but you can see he's not too worried about that one. Sharp continuing the split push. No one really feeling like they can take him down as the Boomerang doing a bit of work to Kensti, but he's able to clear out the minion wave quite effectively.
That's actually not a bad adaptation coming through from the Avant Garde right now. They know the fact that with the armor built up, Sharp going to be incredibly hard for the Irelia to deal with. So just send your magic damage user into that lane, who is at the same time struggling with Perfection. So I actually like the mix-up that came through.
Yeah, not bad. How does Irelia do against Kassadin? I mean, that was something that we saw a fair bit when Kassadin was a top lane.
Yeah, so as long as he can farm, Irelia is going to be quite happy as Sharp now teleporting in.
Yeah, Sharp looking for it. Does have the Mega Gnar as well, and a whole lot of rage left. Direwolves looking just to use that in order to create a third dragon for themselves. Continue the shutout. Shelby not going to go for the optimistic steal. The barrel was there, but they had no vision available.
Yeah, now Sharp out of Mega Gnar. Maybe a window for them to engage, but everyone just backs away. And this is why vision control is so important. They knew exactly where the entire lineup there were Direwolves. They knew exactly where Avant was, and they just felt no pressure. They just teleport in, take away an easy objective. Wow.
But
that was like 3 words.
Yeah, look, you got there in the end. That's the main thing. That's what I keep trying to tell you. The Direwolves now just going to protect this middle lane, not with all of the minion wave clear in the world, but look, Avant now with the siege. And can they do this, or do the Direwolves have enough engaged?
It's there.
Oh, it's been picked up. They listen to you.
Banner of Command's a really cool item because when you're trusting on magic damage for your wave clear, which they kind of are with Perfection, they don't have anything other than Perfection to really AoE down creeps. It creates pressure, Twitch all of a sudden has to hit it.
That's a flash flay attempt there as Warble going to dodge out of the way of the death sentence. Avant looking to think about re-engaging this one. You mentioned that they would actually quite like to be able to get sort of that sort of fight where Direwolves are chasing them down.
The reason Direwolves did that is look at the top wave. They were able to force a lot of CS up against that turret. Kensti was trying to pick that up. They get some damage down. Bottom wave also pushing in that favor. So they're just trying to generate fights while waves are in their, on their side of the map.
Well, Banner of the Command almost up yet again. I believe it was used in the mid lane.
Yeah, it was used in mid lane this time. Really want to see it used in the bottom.
Well, there's a gigantic minion wave. I think even a Banner of
And now
Command could help
Sharp
that.
doesn't have teleport available. So, you know, perfect time to be able to get down there, promote one of those minions up, and create a bad decision coming through for Direwolves.
Yep, Salesman Spawn yet again, teaching us how to buy items. I'm sold. I'm going to build Banner of Command on everything. No one.
Salesman Spawn. Wow.
Yeah, see, it's an alliteration as well.
So
man.
proud.
Oh my goodness. But Trinity Force was completed by Porky, so still an item spike as King looking for an ambush, but he's not going to find the submarine just yet. Direwolves, one thing to their credit is fantastic vision control. Almost got there. Vision control on the top side of the map. Around that Baron, Avant definitely not with the option that you were stating before of baiting around that Baron area. There's just so much vision for this Direwolves lineup.
Yeah, there certainly is, and that's why they're kind of not going for it right now. You see huge items completed for Caitlyn. She's got on her way to the pickaxe as well, so Warble in a great position, just not able to force anything quite yet, and that's what they need to do. Their next objective is to sweep out that Baron area and make sure it's in their control. There's like, what, 7 wards over there? Direwolves can currently see everything.
Yeah, they can most definitely see the top side of the map. Definitely with optimal positioning as well. They can see most of the paths heading up towards there as Porky just going to try and get whatever farm he can. Quarterback to about a 60 CS advantage from Sharp, and that's a positive thing. It's looking pretty dire for Avant.
Yeah, it certainly is, but he is going towards his armor item. You see Sharp, he's picked up a Randuin's Omen, so nice and tanky, but they've got 4 members around him. This might give up the Baron, however.
Yeah, well, they could move there if they move very quickly. Nice flash out of the bounce there as the exhaust comes through. Explosive cast just for good measure from Shelby, and Warble's going to be gifted yet another kill.
Wow.
Oh, King might get 1v1 by Porky here as the death sentence comes down. He is forced to use the ultimate rat-a-tat-tat.
They're on the wrong side of the map. They need a recall, not going to get anything from it.
Yeah, the inhibitor might be taken here from Avant. They're moving Warble up there, who's just got so much damage. You just talked about it. And now, I mean, this is like having a Banner of Command with every wave.
Yeah, it certainly is. They're going in for it.
Yep, all perfection. Might be here just in time to save this turret, but Kensti with a lot of movement
They're
speed.
going to gamble for it again.
Yep, they are going to be able to get it. As Avant now trying to disengage, and can they get it done?
Because Kensti has ulti.
Oh, look at the ultimate perfections! He might just go down. Kensti locks down the kill. Sybil tried to engage it, but now thinks against it without that massive member of the Direwolves. Nice knock-up, gets him out of some Blade Surge damage, but that's all that can be said about that one. 2 members dead for Direwolves, and Avant, when everything was looking bad, pick up a brilliant exchange.
Yeah, and in the end, that just looked like miscommunication out of Direwolves. It looked like they thought that Kensti's ultimate was on cooldown because they dove head first into the Cassiopeia, and doesn't matter how many items you have, the stun still goes off and they make them pay.
It's great timing as well from Kensti. Just finished that Seraph's Embrace. That is about as strong as you're going to get at that time for this Cassiopeia. So now they're on the Baron, and can Direwolves do anything about it? Descent not going to find anyone. Look at this Baron damage. It's getting torn to shreds. Sybil, he's here though. They lock it down. The double knockup comes in. Sharp, he's got Mega Gnar. Looking for the ult, but doesn't find it. Porky, he's just wandering around, and look, they get the Baron, they get an inhibitor, and Avant, they're getting themselves further ahead in this game.
Yeah, they certainly are. They might even be able to get out. No, Sharp goes over the wall, so goodbye, Shelby. But 1 for a Baron.
Yeah, that's the
definitely
body
worked.
slam. Oh, nice use of the Righteous Glory, actually, but yeah, he's dead.
He did everything he could to live then, though.
Yeah, he did.
Old Shelby would have tried to fight them.
He would. He would have. Oh, dear. How much we loved old Shelby. Flashing into everything. He would have flash explosive cast to try and get a little bit more damage on the perfection as he fell down.
But that super creep wave in the bottom lane pushing into the base. All waves now in their favor. They've got the Caitlyn with a Baron buff in mid lane. Even with a member down, they feel like they can push this advantage.
Yeah, Shelby up in another 3 seconds, but Avant, so much damage from everything onto these structures.
Oh,
Kensti
Kensti
going to
got
get
grabbed.
hooked, Perfection coming in as well. Misses the ultimate, does Kenzie, but he's still got a lot of movement speed. Chuffer, he's going to fall down. King gets destroyed by Porky in the back line. There's the ult into the wall, but the
This
passive
might be
Ionian
game.
fervor is fantastic. Porky going to be safe, and you're right, things looking so scary. How they're turning this so nicely, and that was with Kenzie missing the ultimate.
Yeah, and in the end, it was just once again an overcommitment. Porky able to clean up the backline. Trinity Force Irelia, that power spike, we kind of undersold it, but it's always a good thing. And Warble, 7-1-3.
Yeah.
Has been ridiculous this game. And you know what? I'm giving credit to Chelby for getting his bottom lane fed. He followed them around like a bloodhound.
Yeah, he was their fat butler.
And now he's just reaping the benefits.
Yep, and look, Sharp now building some Rage Bar Perfection with a nice Force Pulse, actually might get them away from this turret.
But all they have to do is sit around and wait. They've still got Baron, 2 waves of super minions streaming into the base. It will make it there eventually. This inhibitor will go down.
Yeah, this is Warble with that trinity of items as well. Says, I don't really need any of the sustainers. Direwolves going to try and help out here. Nice built over Peacemaker over Sharp, who now doesn't have the Mega Gnar. Of course, didn't have the ult available just yet either.
So Direwolves actually feel like they need to force. You can see they're letting the waves build up. They can't get a team fight on this wave. It's going to be bad news.
Yeah, well, Chelby looking to try and force underneath here as they have to back off. The Nexus turret's now under fire, and AB, they break the 3rd inhibitor turret. The 3rd inhibitor going to fall down as well. And Avant Garde just playing this map so nicely off one perfect team fight.
Yeah, exactly right. It wasn't even really a team fight. They caught them in the bottom lane and took that turret. That's what it all was about. After that, it was just no good decisions for Direwolves to make. All of a sudden, it's a 4,000 gold hole. They can rotate around, pick up their 1st dragon, stop the 5th dragon, win condition that Direwolves were building up. And all the extra stats that are going to come through at this point of the game just makes them even scarier.
Yeah, that 6% is actually a massive deal at 30 minutes into the game. You're exactly right, as Sybil just trying to split as best he can. They're moving towards the dragon to go for a desperation steal because they want this
King's
win
nowhere
condition.
near it. He's in the top lane. They saw him there.
Yeah, and AV, they're able to clear out all of the vision for the Direwolves. The 1st dragon for Avant going to fall down, and a lot of the options for the Direwolves is now over. As Warble just going to scrying orb his way towards this base.
So if you're Direwolves right now, you go back, everyone buys home guards, you grab potions, and this is your last team fight because 3 waves of super minions.
Oh my goodness, Sybil gets destroyed by Warble. Sharp as well gets knocked up by the Howling Gale. Destiny, the unsung hero on this team, as there's the explosive cast, gets Perfection, who has to ult defensively. Death sentence onto a super creep as the Direwolves relegated to the fountain. And Avant just playing this push comp so beautifully. They're going to take down the Nexus turret. Sharp doing everything he can.
Banner of command creep again.
The super mega creep. Sharp, there's the petrifying gaze from Kenzie, who's sort of just had a free ride this game, you have to think, as Avant. They're going to take down the Nexus. Warble, he's not messing around. He wants to kill structures, and he did that whole game.
Yeah, and after a really weird early game where they just continued to fast push, and it honestly looked like Direwolves were getting funneled gold onto priority targets, so even though it was relatively even, they looked like they had more effective gold. But that just didn't matter. Caught him out of... caught the whole team out of position, able to pick up 1 kill, push it to the base, and that was just Avant making every correct decision around the map.
Yeah, and it just shows sort of the power of Porky as well. I mean, he got wrecked in that lane, but did his job every single fight. He just got onto King and killed him.
Yeah, he's also their shot caller, so coming through with really clear, like calm shot calling coming through there. So a lot of credit has to be given to the top lane. But Warble, as you said, I think you described him as a trebuchet in the early game.
He
just
was.
Set up in front of every turret and just knocked them all down.
Yep, just one after the other. He didn't want to be shooting champions. That just wasn't his thing. That wasn't what Warble wanted. And he saw Cartridge do it in the game against them. They realized, we can't do anything. This team comp's so good. Let's just do it.
Yeah,
and
exactly
they did.
right. Disengage coming through from Jana as well as the Gragas. Kenzie, you said he got a bit of a free ride. Didn't do great in the laning phase, but that Cassiopeia ult turned around the game once again when Direwolves were trying to engage. Everyone playing an integral part of that team comp.
Yep, but we are going to send it outside for some analysis with Pastry Time and Rusty. But before we go there, let's have a listen to the sound of the game as Avant are trying to take down a team fight.
Oh, you know, I'm my way bot. I'm my way bot.
Come.
Yo, stop him. Switch is in. He's in.
Cast it.
Get it back up.
Just run. Cut back. We can do this. We need to cut back.
Cut back.
Okay, into Travis.
Go cast it.
Bro,
One more.
kill.
Nice.
Nice.
Keep going. Rex side.
Nice.
Nice.
Push bot.
Keep going.
They got
King
enough
can't
top.
defend. King is still.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can
catch.
Nice, Mega. I can run back. Holding back.
I can
Nice.
I'm him.
Locked up. Get him.
I got him.
Get him.
Push
Good
bot.
job, boys.
Nice.
And welcome back, everyone, and Rusty. What a crazy game there. Massive upset there for Avant, picking themselves back up after they lost to Sin and taking out Direwolves of all teams.
Almost channeling the Sin's team comp in a funny way as well, utilizing that and playing a very unique style though, not necessarily what Sin played, but playing it in their own personal and very effective manner.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw a bit of the John and Caitlin from Sin. We can kind of see the strength of that, but Rusty, like, at a whole here, what happened? What were Avant trying to accomplish here?
Avant looked like an entirely different team based off that game, right? That they came in and they just decided that the aggression that wasn't there in the first game is everywhere in this game. They went bottom, got the turret. They went top, got the turret, then went mid straight after, finding kills everywhere that they could, getting picks, translating into sieges, giving themselves a lead. And they needed to get that lead to work their team comp perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, so it's great stuff there to move into. What style of comp are they trying to play here?
So basically, Avant were running a peel style team comp, and it's very effective because it has this unique style of engaging/disengaging, but you need to be ahead for it to work.
All right, so first of all, let's have a bit of a deeper look at this and see what sort of champions you need. So here are some common champions that you would play in these sort of comps here, and you can see kind of you getting the idea of what sort of champions you want, right?
Yeah, so disengage. We have a look at top lane. Gnar can scoop them in the opposite direction. Of course, Lulu exceptionally strong. You've got Gragas, we've got Cassiopeia, and we've also got pretty much everything ever that Avant actually played that game. Janna, of course, as well, being used to disengage. And 3 out of 5 ain't bad because the Caitlyn, you're not seeing it on there, but Caitlyn is a hyper carry and isn't required to peel. If you're running a peel team comp, you do not want exclusively the top 5 that we were seeing there. You want some of them scattered between to make the team comp work.
Yeah, and you can see that that's what they had. Let's take a look at the actual team comp from the last game in a bit more detail there as well for Avant. Here you can see, I mean, just look already. You saw the graphic earlier where you disengage champions. Jungle, mid lane, bottom lane.
Exactly. We're seeing the facilitators in the support and the jungle. Very standard. They're having that disengage. And then you've got Cassiopeia, not necessarily known for her prowess at disengaging, but the capabilities of a Cassiopeia to disengage, if in the right scenario, is phenomenal. And the way that Avant actually played this game, they got around Warble, they got around their AD carry, and they just powered through in numbers. It didn't matter that Kensti had a rough early game. As long as he hit that petrifying gaze, the Cassiopeia came up big.
Yeah, and you could see just those late game fights look almost unlosable there for Avant. But how do they even get to that point? Because you can't just pick this sort of comp and say, you know what, we're going to make you play into us. We're going to play reactively and get a hyper carry going. Like, that didn't happen magically there for Avant.
That didn't happen reactively at all. They played super aggressive. They were the ones pushing it into the Direwolves and making them react. The Twitch did not have a chance to ramp up. Every opportunity to kill that Twitch, they took. They went everywhere across the map. They basically rampaged as a big roaming squad, got Caitlyn all of the kills in the CS that was required, and then worked around her and the Irelia with their engage/disengage, because of course you look at the Janna and the Gragas, they can turn it around.
Yeah, they can. We actually have a replay of one of the team fights late in that last game here as well, just to give a bit of an idea of what we're talking about here when we talk about this peel sort of comp.
Yeah, so we're looking at a fight that isn't necessarily the biggest peel comp in the world, but it also shows the strength of every individual champion. So we'll roll the clip through and pay special attention to the fact that Cassiopeia and Janna and even the Gragas are using it in a defensive manner. The way that they go about this, once Direwolves start to push into them, is to completely back away, work around their strength in numbers. Cassiopeia hitting the petrifying gaze, staying at max range to ensure that the rest of the team of Avant can take out Sybil, who went in too far. Essentially, not an aggressive ultimate, but more so to allow the team to take down the important person, and that was the engage of Sybil. Once he was dead, conveniently the stun hitting, of course, on perfection and him going down, they were looking in a very good position to continue that fight, and they went from strength to strength from there.
Yeah, really clever stuff there from Avant. A really well executed game and very impressive to see. And we get a little bit more of the games we pop back into the studio. Spawn, Atlas, and Rymeister are standing.